This is day 20. It's Wednesday the 11th of July and I am sitting here at Blake's Cross garage on the road between Balbriggan and Swords. Had a wonderful night last night, thanks very much to Jerry and his wife Annie and their lovely kids who have the Airport View Hotel, which is just has a spa in it as well, and it's pretty luxurious and very nice. A great meal last night, and it was great to see Pat and Big Patrick, who also came along and did a bit more filming. That's Pat, who's responsible for the 15-minute YouTube film, which hopefully you've seen. There's a link on my website. I think it's called Peace Day Pilgrim in Newry. Anyway, I have just been telephoned by Dara from LMFM, it's a local radio station, and we're about to do an interview, and I thought I would, his opening question is going to be, what is Global Truce 2012 all about? And so I'm hoping, well, I'm going to try and film it and see how it comes across. It may be maybe a waste of time, but we'll give it a go. Just on hold, Dara from LMFM. That's correct, yeah. I came from London Derry across the north coast through Belfast, and I'm on my way down to Dublin, which is in touching distance. I'm at a little place called Blake's Cross, which is halfway between Balbriggan and Swords, and I'm just at a little petrol station here. Of course, yeah. Global Truce 2012 is a campaign that's being spearheaded by an organisation called Peace One Day. But it's not about one organisation, it's about a coalition campaign. So there's organisations all across the world. And it's very simple, well, it's easy to simply sum up. They're looking for the largest reduction in violence the world has ever seen, and the largest gathering of people in the name of peace. Now that second one's quite tough, because last year there were over 100 million people involved on Peace Day. But the idea is, the United Nations International Day of Peace falls on the 21st of September each year, and it's down to all of us to mark it in some way. For example, Peace One Day, they travelled to Afghanistan in 2007. In 2007, their team managed to negotiate a ceasefire between the Taliban and the Allied forces, which was unheard of. No one thought was possible. And because of that ceasefire, the security that was given through that ceasefire, a coalition of medical workers went on a vaccination program to vaccinate kids against polio. And Dara, I want you to guess, how many kids do you think they managed to vaccinate in one day? 50,000 would be a lot, wouldn't it? 1.5 million children vaccinated in one day. And the world woke up and it said, hang on a second, yes, perhaps we can't find this idealistic world peace overnight, but why don't we try and get one day right? And that's what this is all about. 21st of September, everybody around the world marking this one day and trying to get this one day right. And so there's lots of different campaigns. There's a student violence campaign, bullying, anti-bullying campaign, eradication of domestic abuse, which is a massive problem. So there's lots of different ways people can get involved. But that's the crux of it. 21st of September, let's try and reduce violence beyond belief. Yeah, Jeremy Gilly started off as an actor, but then very quickly became a filmmaker, and he wanted to make a film to see if it was possible to get a day of peace, you know, around the world. And he almost made the film as if it wasn't possible, why not? So he wrote off all these letters to everybody, and everybody ignored him. This is back in sort of 97, 98. And then out of the blue, a letter came from the from the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama said, "Come and visit me in India." He had no money, so a friend who worked for BA bought him a ticket, got him a ticket on BA, flew him over there, and from that moment it started moving forward. Now, it took them 3 years to persuade the British government and the Costa Rican government to put forward a resolution to the United Nations. And finally it was ratified in 2001. All 57 nations at that time unanimously approved it. So we're signed up to it, and the UK and the Republic of Ireland are signed up to it as well. And the idea is that we mark this one day. Now, unfortunately, the launch event in 2001 was in New York at the United Nations building on the 11th of September. So they're about to launch the whole idea, and then all of a sudden there's evacuation orders, and there might have been a terrorist attack on the Twin Towers. And so it got brushed underneath the carpet, but we're building back up. We're building back up. Yeah, so basically my idea was, we had a 3-month countdown event in Derry, London Derry, on the 21st of June, and we're celebrating in London on the 21st of September. So I decided to walk 1,200 miles, as in 2012, 1,200 miles, through the 5 capital cities, Belfast, Dublin, Edinburgh, Cardiff, and finishing in London. And yeah, that's 92 days, 13 weeks, I'm on day 20, it's going very well. But the trick is, the discipline, it's a bit of an act of faith. On day 1 I cut up my card, handed it over, and handed over my cash. So for the whole 3 months I'm completely relying on the kindness of strangers for everything, for food and shelter. I am, Dara, I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart, I am overwhelmed by the reception and the warmth that I've received here, both in the Northern Ireland and down here in the Republic. People have just opened me with a warm embrace. I have now, as you say, this is day 20. I have not been hungry for more than an hour, and I have had a bed every single night, and I've met a host of the most extraordinary people. I mean, last night I was staying with a lovely family and a guy called Jerry, who owns the Airport View Hotel just down the road, and they cooked me dinner and looked after me. I met this a wonderful guy called Pat in Newry, who decided to try and make a little film, which he did, which is, people can see on the Facebook page, the Peace Day Pilgrim Facebook page, and you know, Carlingford, Sharon and Mick, it just, the list goes on and on and on of the most amazingly warm and welcoming people. No money at all. No money at all. Nothing at all. Zero. An entourage. If my little backpack and my luminescent jacket count as an entourage, then I've got an entourage. What I do have, and this is the most important thing I carry with me, is I have a white flag that's on the end of a pole coming out of my rucksack, and so people can see the white flag. And actually what's great now I've been here long enough and people have seen me on the roads, people are beeping their horn and waving, and that kind of moral support is absolutely fantastic. And people are coming up and saying, "Hi, aren't you the Peace Day Pilgrim?" So that's really good. And I'm off to stay with someone tonight who's offered me a place down in Howth, and I will be in Dublin on Friday and Saturday. So if anybody in the local area wants to come along and say hello, they can get in contact. All the contact details are on the website, which is www.peacedaypilgrim.com. The only planning is when I've happened to have met someone and and they may have phoned a friend in advance. So for instance, when I started the walk, I had 92 days. I only knew about 3 of those days. Out of 92 days, about 3 of them in advance. But when I was in Belfast, I did a radio interview, and a lovely lady called Ethna literally put a message on the Facebook page saying, "I'd love to buy you dinner and look after you in Belfast," and she took me to the Land of Giants show. Then she said, "Oh, I've got a friend who lives in Hoath," and so she sent a message to her friend in Hoath. That's the only reason I know in advance. But lots of the days I literally just arrive and play it by ear. It's about settling into the sort of the embrace of humanity, really. I've just finished a degree in politics, philosophy and economics, and I've been working in sort of the, broadly speaking, in the sustainability field. I ran a small sustainability charity in Devon, and doing a little bit of freelance work. I mean, at the moment my hat is Peace Day Pilgrim, really, and promoting these organisations, Peace One Day, and also there's another great organisation called Masterpiece 2014. They're looking forward to the Peace Day on the in 2014, and there's going to be a massive event at the pyramids in Giza, which I shall be going to, and they're working in connection with a great author called Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist, who some of your listeners may have heard, and I've been very privileged to be asked to be one of the Alchemist Alive chaps, and so it's about just promotion, awareness raising, spreading the word, and I can't think of a better way than walking and talking and telling people about it, really. I don't know how good I can walk and I can talk. I'm not so sure about my writing, to be honest with you. But you know, if someone wants to come along and give me a help with that, then fantastic. I mean, I have to say that the magic that is being captured at the moment, and this is the most important thing, the magic that is being captured is the fact that the success of my journey relies on exactly the same human spirit that will make the International Day of Peace work. And every day I see it, that compassion and that a complete stranger will look after you is exactly what it's all about, and that's a very special thing to witness. Dara, you're a star for having me on. Thank you so much for your support. They're playing one of my favourite songs. You might not be able to hear that. Tracy Chapman. And just up in the air, Ireland doesn't have many birds of prey, but there's a buzzard up there. And I have a very special relationship with buzzards and birds of prey. So, how was that interview? It was alright, you didn't hear the questions. I hope it came across alright. I hope I got everything in. That's what it's all about. That's what this walk is all about, spreading the word. Global Truce 2012. Peace One Day. Masterpiece. One step at a time.
I love it.